We are joined by Hofstra head coach Seth Tierney and Sean Henderson following Hofstra's 17-13 win over St. John's. Coach, your overall thoughts on the game?
Yeah, first and foremost, I would like to thank the plant department and facilities. If you saw this place at 8 o'clock this morning, for us to be able to get a game in tonight, those guys need to be thanked. What they did to get our field playable and to get St. John's here, I'm awfully thankful for our university for what they did to get this game off. As far as the game tonight, it was a tale of two halves, certainly. That team plays hard. That team hasn't won in a while, and that makes them very dangerous. And then you combine it with a local rival, right? So anytime Michigan plays Michigan State, regardless of ranking, Florida State, these little local rivals, that first half, they punched us, and they were playing harder, and they got after it. I give the guys downstairs an awful lot of credit. They stayed poised. There was a couple of 2-goal swings that went their way and not ours, and we stayed locked in. I think we went down 12-8 in the third quarter, and to go from 12-8 to a 4-goal win, that's an 8-goal swing in a short amount of time, and a lot of people have to be thanked for that. So certainly the guy at the X, Chase Patterson, he had a tough week last week at Navy, and what he did, in those couple of days to get his head right, to get his timing right, awfully proud of him. Certainly the guy sitting next to me, he had 4 saves at halftime and then 15 in the second half. And he was just instinctual, right? He was just beating them to spots. There's a couple of that I think he just got hit because I heard the chest protector sound go off. I heard the helmet sound, but that's a save. That means he was just in the right position. And I'm not easy on him. He knows it. And he wants to be great. He's going to continue to work, but he did a great job. And then sharing the ball offensively. We got a lot of work to do. We got another great opponent coming in on Saturday, but I'm certainly proud that we're on the right side of the scoreboard.
Coach, this young man had the most saves in a Hofstra game since May of 2018 tonight. Your thoughts, just more on him, and then Sean, your thoughts on kind of the game you had, especially in that second half.
Yeah, certainly that's a wonderful stat for the goalie. It's a wonderful stat for us. Not a great stat for our defense that we gave up that many shots. I'm certainly thankful he had an opportunity to gather that record or since a certain time. But we need to tighten some things up defensively. And again, those guys played with him. They were quick. They got their hands free and they were moving without the ball. And Coach Gorman had a great plan. It's just we weren't executing it. But again, we don't win tonight. Certainly up the middle of the field. John Madsen, Sean Henderson, the guys on the wings were better, and Chase Patterson, all of those guys. Really, number 9, Griffin Turner played great.
Sean, your thoughts on your performance, particularly in the second half?
I'm really just happy that we got the win there. The defense, we got stuff to clean up, and I know Coach Gorman, we're going to be hitting the film pretty hard. But overall, the guys playing in front of me, they let me see the ball today, which is all I can ask for. And I don't know, you have those moments where you kind of just get locked in, and that was kind of what happened today in the second half. I got a little chirped running in from halftime from the other team, and a lit a fire under my butt. So it was good game overall, but I can't thank the offense enough for after I was making saves, they were going down and putting the ball away. So.
Speaking of offense, was it a pass or a shot in the fourth quarter?
A shot.
Yeah, it was a shot.
Questions?
Coach, we talked about that point where you guys were down 12-8.
Yeah.
Was there any sort of adjustment or anything that you guys did as a team to come back from that and to ultimately take a lead?
No, the answer to your question is no. The adjustments were made at halftime. We meet offensively and defensively. Then we come together for a little bit of inspiration. What we were doing was right. We weren't getting it done, and we just needed to stay with it. And sometimes you run out of time. And certainly, we get to the end of that third quarter, and I think maybe we were down 2. I think maybe at the end of the third quarter, and I was like, we didn't make up any ground in the halftime score, but I felt the momentum a little bit. We knocked a few people down. We got a little bit of energy behind us, so I think that was the situation.
Coach, we've seen the we've seen come back strong in fourth quarter multiple times. What was, was there any particular reason that we've seen this happen a few times now?
I mean, certainly tonight, they dug down and they had that refuse to lose situation. They knew it was one play at a time. Listen, let's just talk about it. We weren't thrilled coming home from Annapolis, right? We didn't think that we threw our best punch there. Whether we won or lost, we just didn't feel like we gave everything. We went a long way for not a whole lot of what we liked. And I was hoping that we were going to get out in the beginning of the game, and that didn't happen. So as a coach, sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches. You gotta stay behind your guys. And the fourth quarter, without yelling and screaming and making things crazy, the fourth quarter is when they started to believe in each other a little bit. They held them to one goal. It was a 7-1 quarter, and that's a pretty special quarter in the sport of lacrosse.
Sean, today you played amazing in the second half. Was there a moment that maybe changed it, like one particular save or one sequence where you were maybe uncomfortable before, but then you were locked in and you knew this is my game?
There's not really one particular moment. It's kind of, when you come out of halftime, a big thing for goalies is like getting that first save, and then it kind of piles on one another. I had two pretty early in the third quarter, which were nice, and then from there it was kind of just playing on instincts. I picked up how a lot of their shooters were shooting, where they wanted to shoot, and I baited them a little bit, and that's where a lot of the saves came from.
Coach, John Matson's kind of the guy that always does it, and then it's always somebody else that's shining in most games, but he's always contributing. Tonight it was him, though, career high 6 goals. What did you see from John tonight that allowed him to be so successful?
Yeah, I mean, certainly he could be sitting next to us as well, and he had an unbelievable energy game, made really good decisions all the way through, and just took advantage of his opportunities. How many times in any sport, you miss this simple play and it comes back and haunts you. The shots that he took were great shots. There was one that I remember, we were clearing the ball and he just didn't stop. I think it was in the third quarter down that far end, and he just, I think that's the one that brought it from 4 back to 3, and we got right to 12-9. And we ride off of his energy. He had his twin older brothers played for St. John's, so I'm sure this means a little bit around the dinner table for him a little bit. His brothers were dressed in gray today, not blue or not red, so they played the neutral game. It's a wonderful family, and the Madsen boys, including the guy that we have there, compete level is very high.
Coach, you mentioned defense and the struggles there a little bit earlier. What do you think they could have done differently?
Yeah, I mean, one of the two, but not 0 for 2. So what I mean by that is we got to be able to be in their gloves and defend them, or we got to be great off the ball. And they got to us because we were 0 for 2. We weren't in their gloves, and we weren't where we should be off the ball, and that's why you saw some of these like uncontested goals. I have full faith in all of my coaches. Coach Gorman's going to be back to work tonight, and we're going to, we got a short week. Again, the best assist tonight was the plant and facilities people, because if we had to play tomorrow, that's one less day of preparation for Sienna, who's got a full week for us. So those guys get the MVP, is the plant department and the facilities people.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Sean.